I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're
Sisters in Ebert.
Welcome back for another Movie Monday.
It's Thanksgiving!
It's Thanksgiving! Thanksgiving for everybody! Unless you're European. Okay, 1987's classic, and I do mean classic.
Trains, planes, and automobiles. Which, very long title.
Yes. Is it planes, trains, and automobiles?
Isn't that what I said?
Nope, you said trains, planes.
Whoops, sorry.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
I misspoke. I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
They started out on a plane.
Planes, trains, automobiles. And as, it comes up on the screen, they play each noise, like a plane noise, a train noise, and then a car, like a truck noise.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes.
That is. Sorry.
Steve Martin and John Candy classic.
Oh, it's wonderful.
We opened to... Was this summer movie?
I believe so.
I think it was, but I remember Mom and Dad both with us, but I think it was a summer movies bonus weekend.
Or bonus evening or something. But it was one of these, I remember thinking, why did Dad wait so long to show this to us?
It was so good.
It was so good. I loved it as a kid, and I love it now.
This is summer movies, subject to our squirrel rating, which if you're not familiar, our dad showed us one summer that stretched out into several years of his favorite films. So have no fears, we've got stories for years. And things that he thought that we would like that he really liked. Mm-hmm. So we would watch them as a family though, or just with him usually at lunches. He would be home with us during the day because he worked middle shift, and we'd have our TV here, our wooded backyard through a glass sliding door.
Mm-hmm. So we would look outside if the movie was not interesting.
Your gaze would go from here to here.
Yeah, just to settle the eyes. Mm-hmm, so Dad would still think you're watching.
Because these were not optional films. These were mandatory classics. And so we would watch and look at the squirrels outside. So if it was too boring, too awkward, if there was some adult themes,
It should be noted too. If Dad saw you not watching, he'd be like, "Oh, you just missed this.
You missed this part," and we would rewind it. So you didn't get out of anything.
No,
you had to be really slick about it.
You gotta be slick about the squirrels.
I don't know if we ever included that with these movies too. They were never their appropriate running time because we would have pauses for Dad's director's cut commentary.
Yeah, it was always commentary.
But his personal commentary.
See that actor? He was in this, and this, and this.
He was the bodyguard in that movie. He played the waiter in that movie.
I'm going to show you one tomorrow.
Yeah.
That has this guy. Remember this guy's face.
Yeah. See if you recognize him. So,
like homework.
The higher the squirrels, the less interesting we were in the movie, the more awkward it might have been. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's where we are with that. So we will give that at the end. We opened to Steve Martin checking his watch in a meeting, mouth silently to Ferris Bueller's Dad that he has to go, looking at a plane ticket. And I think this was in Chicago, wasn't it? So it might have been Ferris Bueller's
He was in New York City.
Trying to get to Chicago.
To get to Chicago.
Maybe Ferris Bueller's Dad was also trying to get to Chicago.
Maybe. Oh, he was. Because remember they said, I'm taking the plane out tomorrow. So it probably is supposed to be Ferris Bueller's Dad. What year is this?
1987.
Well,
86, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 86.
I bet
they did it on purpose. They made him the same character.
So
he's a bit part.
Yeah,
you
don't see him for a second. Yeah. He has to go. He's looking at the plane ticket. He told his wife he'd be home in Chicago. I should have just read the last line.
There you go.
By 9 p.m. as Ferris Bueller's Dad says he'll never catch the cab and make it in time.
Yeah.
He'll never
catch
the plane.
You're never going to get a cab to get to the airport on time.
So he fights Kevin Bacon for a cab and loses.
Again, Kevin Bacon, tiny little part.
Which Kevin Bacon was also filming that other movie during, I think this is all in that same...
What other movie?
That she's having a baby or whatever.
Oh, yes. Because they play it in part of the movie. You can hear it in the background, at Steve Martin's wife.
Okay.
She has it on in the background, but the movie hadn't come out yet, so nobody recognized that. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. He tries to buy a cab from another man for $50, but instead asks for $75 and agrees and pays, but both lose the cab to a man with a huge steamer trunk, John Candy, who starts loading up the second the cab stopped.
So
as they're fighting over this.
You see it drive away, and if you notice in the puddle, there's 2 shower curtain rings.
I didn't notice
which
that.
Which is coming.
That's
later.
Amazing. I love it. I should have got some for earrings.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Okay. So Steve Martin gets to the airport as the flight is delayed and cuts to his family at home eating and realizing he'll be delayed. Mm-hmm. He meets John Candy waiting for the plane, reading The Canadian Mounted. It was a book.
Which, again, fun fact about that. I'm just throwing them all out there as we go. So he's reading the book, The Canadian Mounted. Ryan Reynolds loves this movie. Okay. It's one of his favorites.
Oh, really?
In all 3 Deadpools, he's seen reading The Canadian Mounted at some point.
I love that guy. Well, John Candy is originally from Canada, right?
Yes. He's Canadian.
And Ryan Reynolds is too, also. Yeah.
But so, he has to, pay a certain amount of money to get the prop to use it in each of these movies.
Oh, it's the actual one?
It's, I guess, or something they made, but then he has to keep paying to get it in the next film.
That's wonderful. I love that. John Candy is Del, and he tries to make up for stealing the cab, and he realizes that he's the one who's...
I know you from somewhere.
Yeah, he's like,
you stole my cab.
I haven't stolen anything in my life.
Well, it was really easy to get a cab at rush hour. And he realized that he's so apologetic and so sweet. He
makes up for stealing cab by buying Steve Martin a snack, who says no. Del didn't know the cab was stolen. And Del Griffith is his name. He sells shower curtain rings, and Neil Page is Steve Martin, and he's his seatmate in coach after being bumped from first class. He doesn't want to annoy Neil, but does anyways. He just keeps talking. He can't stop himself. Yeah.
No, nothing worse than a blabbermouth. It doesn't know when to shut up.
They can't land in Chicago. It's snowing too hard, so they land in Wichita, Kansas instead. Mm-hmm. So Del, go ahead.
Neil calls his wife at this point to tell her, and she's angry.
I know.
And it's I can't control
He is not the pilot, ma'am.
And it's obviously this is an ongoing theme in their relationship that he's always traveling.
But she just seems so
she is really
itchy the whole time.
But again, I guess it is the night before Thanksgiving, and you're gonna miss it 2 nights before Thanksgiving. But still,
I mean, because it's the kids
the next
pageant
night
thing,
is their Thanksgiving pageant.
Okay. Del's motto is like your work, love your wife, and predicts the flight to Chicago will be canceled completely. When with all motels booked, it happens, and Del gets a room though, because he says that he was grabbing one up before they even canceled the flights because he knew it was going to happen.
He's you called your wife to tell her, and I called the motel.
Yeah, and he says that he'll help Neil get a room if he gets cab fare and covers the cab fare. And Ben Stein is the worker from the plane who cancels the flight.
I am sorry to have to have this.
They can only get one room to share. It's the last one, and the hotel manager mixes up Del and Neil's credit cards, which they don't realize right away. They have to share a bed. There's only one in the room, and Del looks at a picture of his wife while Neil showers. Del used all the towels except a washcloth.
The tiny little, so he gets out, and the bathroom is trash. There's stuff everywhere. There's wet towels,
socks,
socks.
Soaking in the.
So he gets the little washcloth that he left. He's just toweling off with it.
Both men share the bed, and Del left beer cans on the vibrating bed, and it exploded on Neil's side, so he's sleeping in a wet spot.
This is a whole extended scene, that it was supposed to be much longer, whereas he used his credit card to call and order pizza, and then he had the beer, and it exploded. And when he tipped the pizza guy, he only tipped him $1, so he was mad. And then the pizza guy comes back then. We'll get to that.
Okay. 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 I didn't see. That makes a lot more sense. They should have left that in.
Yeah, they should have.
Okay. Okay. So they try to sleep. Del continues to annoy Neil, and they fight each other. Criticizes Del's stories and personality. Del's hurt and chooses to think of others instead. Del
reams him out.
And Steve Martin's a bit hard to take in this movie.
Oh, he is very
crabby, and I was he's so not endearing. So So Del likes himself, and his wife likes him too, and he's not changing for anybody.
I like me, and it's such a nice speech.
It is,
and it's okay. Yeah, you feel for him and you love him. Yeah, and Neil can stick it where the sun don't shine. Yeah, there's a whole Family Guy episode where they do this He does the whole speech. I like me. Oh, my wife likes me. Oh,
that's great. So Neil feels guilty. he stays the night in the room. They forget to lock the room, and somebody robs their cash in the
It's the pizza guy that he stuffed.
That would have made more sense. I can't. Why would Dell stiff a pizza guy though? Like that doesn't seem like Dell.
He didn't have a lot of money.
I guess.
So, like he was like, here you go.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why he came back to get money from them. Yeah. So he robbed them.
Okay. So the next day, they wake up cuddling. Dell nuzzles Neil, thinking it's his wife.
Kisses his ear.
Yeah. Those aren't pillows!
Yeah, like they're like holding each other. He's like, why are you holding my hand?
Yeah.
Where's your other hand? Between two pillows.
Those aren't pillows! Yeah.
They're both trying to shake it up to catch that Bears game last week. That was a good one. They're going to go all the way this year.
They accidentally, which we sadly, as Bear fans, know they will not.
Did not go all the way that year. Or any year after.
We've been rebuilding since 1986. Okay. So, they accidentally use Dell's underwear to pat his face dry. Neil does.
Well, he goes to, like, wash his face, and he's, like, splashing it, and then sees his dirty socks are like, soaking in the sink.
The water why would you use sink water at a hotel for your face?
After it was trash last night already. By Dell, you know it's not clean to begin with. And then he goes to towel off with his big old whitey tighty ways.
No flights are going out. Dell talks Neil into going by train instead, and Neil thinks Dell stole $700 out of his wallet, but Dell's money got robbed too. Mm-hmm. So that's when they realize,
accusing him like,
you tell me. You tell me.
And here even references. He says like, you used my credit card to pay for the pizza last night. And you went my wallet.
Dell's like, I forget how much you said, but he's like, there's $32 or whatever. Count it. And 50 cents. Count it.
200 something.
Yeah.
And then he's like, it's empty.
Yeah.
Like, what?
So they realize that they're
both freaking out then because they were robbed.
Yeah. Gus's son, the hotel manager is Gus, gives Dell and Neil a ride to the train station. They ride in the truck bed with an angry dog who's like slobbering the whole way.
Oh, it's Gus's son. Owen is his name.
Oh, okay.
And he's like...
Yeah.
Like honking up blue stuff, and that was all unscripted. Like he just did it, and then when he wiped his snot and then shook Steve Martin's hand, it was like, oh, he spit and like did it, and that was like unscripted. So like it was really like his disgusted face when he ran to wash his hands at the end of the take, and everybody was laughing at him.
I love that. So. There is a frozen by the time they get to the train station. Yeah. They get Dell a train ticket and the men part ways. And then Neil is happy that he'll make it home in time, but the train breaks down and reunites with Dell to go onward.
And this train was built for this movie. Like it's not a real train. Okay. Like railroad didn't go through there.
Yeah.
So it's actually still like it's like abandoned today. Like it's still there. I imagine it's still there today. Like in theory, that's what it said. Like they just left it.
Did it? Wow. Okay. Now you know. Knowledge is power. Okay. So they switch to bus travel after they're unable to get another train. And the tickets get them to St. Louis, and Dell gets money by selling shower curtains as jewelry to passengers. So that's why we said the earrings. He's like, they make great earrings.
Yeah. You know? There's these 3 teenage girls. He's like, we definitely look older. And they're just handing money.
Yeah. It's just like, you could pull for like 18, 19.
And the next thing they're in a restaurant, and you can see women in the background.
Neil missed his daughter's Thanksgiving pageant, and Dell says that he hasn't been home in years, but says it's a figure of speech. Neil says that he thinks they would get moving faster if they split up. Neil gets another bus and is dropped off by the rental car that is already missing from, by a rental car that is already missing from a spot and has to walk back to the rental office in the airport.
So you got dropped by a bus at the rental car lot.
Like a tram thing,
super far from the rental car office.
So he gets to the office with the rental worker who used to work as Ed Rooney's secretary from Ferris Bueller.
I love this scene.
Neil is very belligerent and hostile, threw the rental agreement away so he can't get anything, and then the mouths off to the bus worker, almost hit by Dell's rental car, and catches a ride with him after he's punched out by the worker that he mouthed off.
So at the rental car office with Ed Rooney's secretary.
I can't remember.
They told her, like, she just improvised the whole story. Like, pretend you're talking on the phone to somebody and he's just getting impatient with you.
You
know I don't know how to cook.
Yeah, she's like, oh, well, he'll make the stuffing and then she'll make the thing. Yeah.
Okay, all right, gobble gobble. And, like, this whole thing. And then Steve Martin goes on this tirade of F-bombs. It's 19 F words in 1 minute. And that's what gave them their R rating. They appealed it. They could have had a PG or...
I didn't know this was R rated.
Yeah, they could have had a PG or a PG-13 except for this scene, and it got denied, so they had to keep the R rating.
Now, wow. I had no idea.
Which is probably why Dad maybe kept it from us for a bit. Because it was rated R. I don't think that stopped him with other things, though.
Was, like, very, like...
Do you want us to hear curses?
No. Yeah, like, the curses were the bad. Like, any violence is A-okay.
Yeah.
Adult themes, sure, what have you.
Yeah.
But swears? No. No swears.
They'd say an F-bomb. They said good luck.
Good luck. Even, like, today. They said good luck.
They said good luck.
Neil's voice is much higher because he was picked up by his testicles by the worker.
Yeah. Yeah, because Dell's like, help him up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And he advises Neil to go with the flow. Neil and Dell bicker again, and Dell breaks the rental seat. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he's trying to adjust it. Yeah. And his coat is caught.
Yeah. Neil says not to let him forget his wallet is in the glove compartment.
Yes.
So Neil sleeps and Dell drives recklessly. Like, he's just like...
This is when his coat gets stuck.
Yes.
Because then he has no arms to drive.
Yeah.
He's trying to get his coat off.
Yes, exactly.
And he's like...
Dell throws a cigarette out the window, but it flies back in and lands on the back seat. So he's trying to get his jacket off because it's like, isn't the heater broken?
The heater is blasting.
Yeah. And
he's driving like it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So he's
trying to get his jacket off, but it's stuck on the window crank. Yeah. Roll down the window, kids. That's what we mean. Like, there's a crank on the side and you have to physically roll the window down. So he nearly crashes and tells Neil that he almost hit a deer. Tanner's back on the highway going the wrong direction, and he thinks that a man trying to warn him that he's going the wrong direction wants to race him.
Well, he's like, this guy's crazy. He says you're going the wrong way. How does he know where I'm going?
How does he know where we're going?
I remember laughing so hard the first time we saw this. Like, this whole scene, we were just hysterical.
You're going the wrong way! They almost get hit, and Neil envisions Dell as Satan and goes to collect items from the highway that are just, like, strewn about. The steering wheel is bent in half as they go between two tractor trailers to like, stop. Like, it is
a close call there for their lives.
So they turn around to see that the rental car is on fire. Neil laughs, but realizes that his wallet's in the glove compartment. So now they got nothing.
Yeah, because they were charging their way then to get home.
Yeah, because they didn't have any cash anymore. Mm-hmm. Which Dell had $200-some. Why didn't he tip the kid a 5-spot instead? Like,
I don't think he really had that much. Or if he did, like,
no, I think he did because that was how he was proving that he didn't steal it.
But this whole time, like, he's getting out of paying for everything.
That's true.
Like, he's having Neil foot the bill for all these different things, but making it seem.
But is he really making it seem, or like, is he legit thinking these things?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, because I think Dell's just so kind-hearted.
Like, I even let you pay for the room, so you wouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, because he's like, well, he's getting the hookup.
Yeah.
And Neil's paying for, Dell used Neil's card to rent the car when it was in his wallet by accident, so he's on the hook for the car. That's the thing. And he's like, that was like, okay.
Yeah, so he's gonna be responsible.
The credit cards are all melted and not enough cash for a room, so they use $17 and a Rolex, and Dell only has $2 and a Casio. So he sleeps in the busted car that is like, the windows are all blasted out, the roof's kind of
how is this even functioning?
And Dell talks to Self and his wife Marie and realizes
I wish we were together right now.
Realizes that he smothered Neil. You always tell me, I come on too strong and blah, blah, yeah. Neil realizes that Dell is in the car and he has him come share the rooms. They split the minibar and discuss how much Dell loves Marie, and love isn't big enough a word for how he feels about Marie. And Neil toasts to the wives and laugh about bad luck. So they kind of bond a little bit.
They are bonding.
Yeah.
They're a little drunk. They're
They're
having a good old
Yep.
time.
The next day, they push the car to get going, and they crash into the motel.
Yeah.
And they hurry to leave before getting caught, because it was like one of those hotels where like the windows are really big, and it's like a motel, so like you're on the ground floor. So they smash out the windows, and they're trying to just leave.
They just leave. They peel out.
Yep. They get pulled over for speeding in dilapidated vehicle as the speedometer is broken. And the cop is impounding the vehicle due to safety concerns. Del and Neil hitchhike with a tractor trailer in a refrigerated freight, and they get to Chicago finally, and Del sees Neil to the L train, and they part ways, giving love to each other's families. So Neil is thinking on the train about his family and the trip, and then Del's words throughout the trip, and he goes back and realizes Del is alone, and confirms when he's alone at the station that Del...
He gets off the train, runs back, and
because he's thinking about all these little things that Del said.
I haven't been home in years.
Yeah, like, oh, I wish I could see my wife, like, all these things. So, they, at the station, Del, it's revealed that Del has no home. Marie has been dead for 8 years, and he brings Del and his trunk to his home for dinner.
It made me so sad.
I know.
It was like, she's been dead 8 years. It was like, oh. And then you wonder, like,
and
what
that's
his
why
life
he's
has looked like.
And that's why he's so lonely. He's just bouncing around.
Yeah, he's trying to latch on to people just to have companionship.
Well, and because like he's got no roots anywhere. Like he's just bouncing around.
I do wonder, like, where was he going?
Yeah.
He was in New York City. He was heading to Chicago.
Yeah,
where are you going?
Yeah,
what are you doing? Like, so many questions for Del.
So he introduces Del to his family, and Neil introduces Del to Ice Queen wife, and Neil hugs his wife as Del watches. And this was a John Hughes movie. That's what I'm thinking. John Hughes. It escaped me the whole time. And with the song "Every Time You Go Away" is the away. And I put Steve Martin and John Candy's... Oh, okay. My fun fact is that this was Steve Martin and John Candy's favorite movie of theirs each ever.
Yes, they both
said that this was their favorite movie that they ever made. Both
and I see why. It is such a good movie.
It is, yeah.
And I feel like nobody has seen it.
I know, and it's like a Thanksgiving movie.
It's a Thanksgiving movie.
And there's no Thanksgiving movies.
It's hilarious.
It's so funny.
So funny. The comedic timing.
It's got the heart. It's John Hughes. So
yeah, so you have like the heart and soul to it too. Like, it's got everything.
And it's got everything. But that's why you have all these like little cameos from other John Hughes movies too. Because Ferris was also John Hughes, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got your Ferris people, you got Kevin Bacon, and then like in the Kevin Bacon movie, she's having a baby. Like they were using ones from his other movies, including this for like giving advice, like Steve Martin's like. So
That's
so good. It all ties together.
Yeah.
In the John Hughes universe.
You need to watch this movie.
Yeah.
0 squirrels.
0 squirrels.
Stay in your stump.
Bold words, yeah.
It was
now and then.
Now and then. Okay. That's how I feel about it. You?
Okay. I may have had 1 squirrel in the beginning, just because I was just like a little like. This was, I remember, like, I wanted to go upstairs and just relax for the day, night. This was an evening movie. Okay. Mom was there, and I was just like, okay. And it kept going. Like, it was pause.
Yeah, we did talk. Do you remember him from Favorite Few? Did you watch the end credit scene?
I did not.
There is a scene after the credits. It's Neil's boss sitting at his desk with a Thanksgiving meal around him, still looking at the marketing things from the beginning, unable to make a decision. That. Yes.
Did you know we didn't watch that the first time we watched it?
No, we didn't. I just learned about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it with the Thanksgiving spread.
And he's just still like can't decide if he what he likes, what he doesn't like.
Oh, but I do now. I say absolutely negative squirrels.
Yes, it's so good.
Such a good movie.
Seasonal. It's
yeah, it's out. It's perfect.
Fun.
And I said like we try to watch this around Thanksgiving most years because it's very funny.
So festive and fun.
Yeah,
and like the whole point is like because of the weather they can't get places. So when they're filming, they were like chasing snowstorms, trying to like, and they couldn't get snow. Like they'd get there like just after everything melted, or like they would just miss it. So like in some of the scenes, there's like fake snow on the side of the road because they were like, we need to film this.
Right. Right. Oh, that is hysterical. And yeah, I do. I love, there's so much good about this movie.
There's so many good lines.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It is. So, and even like, I know it's an R-rated movie, but I feel like it's more like
just for that 1 minute. You can skip that 1 minute.
Yeah, I feel like this is a family movie.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah.
There's worse stuff on TV now.
Oh my gosh, way worse.
But are you familiar with this movie? Have you seen it?
If you haven't, please do your homework right now. Go watch it.
Go watch it. It's the perfect time of year. And everybody enjoy your Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all you Americans.
So if
you're not in America
and you want to celebrate,
hey, have some turkey.
How about it? Yeah.
Pass the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes.
Oh, the turkey looks great.
Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for being there. The whole world's thinking. The whole world's thinking. That's for thanking you. Kill the turkey.
Bob's Burgers is great Thanksgiving episode.
If you're looking for other Thanksgiving,
once you finish planes, trains, and automobiles, then you can move on to Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episode.
Only after.
Yes. You have homework first.
We're summer of moving here right now.
Did you just look outside for a minute? Well, let's rewind.
Please look below in our description below this video to get our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Sisters and Ebert. Please follow, like, and subscribe and all the things, and comment. And obviously our YouTube channel is Sisters and Ebert. Please continue with us here and subscribe and like and all that stuff. Ring the bell to get our notifications for when we post new things. And let us know if this is one that you're familiar with, and hopefully you are. And if not, go check it out. It's
and
awesome.
Then let us know what you thought.
Yes, please do. And we'll see you next Monday at the movies.